good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. It is Friday. It is Ask the Experts. That's right. You have well, at least one expert on, Lakeisha Hines. I'm joining her as she pours into the people this morning. Today is all about you. It is your opportunity to ask your questions. So whether you are single, dating, in a committed courtship, engaged, married, separated, on the verge of divorce, whatever your relational status is, we want you to weigh in. Don't be a spectator, be a participator and get your question in before we get. Well, good morning, Lakeisha. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are
Excellent,
you?
excellent. Before we get started, Last Chance Weekend's coming up May 19th through the 21st. We're excited. Couples are signing up quickly. There's still room, so make sure you go ahead and do that. And before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let the world know that we are available. Remember back in the day, like a couple years ago, this is maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, on Facebook, everything was about the relationship question of the day. Somebody would post a question and then all the answers would come. And now we're in 2023 and all we do is answer questions. So we want you to participate in the tradition that has gone to the next level by posting your question so that we can give you the answers that you need. All right, we got a little echo. We're going to take care of that. Guys, we're gonna what I want to do is share a quick testimonial of a couple that recently met with one of our practitioners for a Last Chance Weekend. It was actually Roland Bradley who did a phenomenal job with this couple. Powerful, powerful testimonial. We're gonna go to that and then we're gonna dive into today's questions. So in the meantime, post your question and we will get started.
Yes, my name is Quinn Hales, and I'm from California. I just attended the 3-day intensive, and it was a very good experience with Roland and Janella, and I really appreciated it. When I came out, I really didn't know what I was in fold for, but when I got here, I was treated exceptionally nice and taken care of completely. I enjoyed myself completely. My wife is my world, and I'm glad to be that much closer to her today. Thank you.
My name is Gloria, and I'm also from California, and I've attended the 3-day intensive. What I got from this was, today I can say that I've gotten tools, a path, a level of encouragement to know that there are wonderful people in this world that are working to rebuild marriages every single day. And Roland and Janella and Couples Academy has just been a wonderful experience, I think, for any family or couple that are going through anything within their marriage, regardless if it's where it is in your marriage. Investing in your marriage, investing in yourselves, investing in that is one of the best things you can do. Thank you.
Powerful testimonial. This is what we do this for. When couples can come out on the other side in a very special place, that's what this is about. So if you are in a position where you just don't know what the future of your relationship looks like, and you know everything you've been doing up to this point has not been working, then you've got to do something different. Reach out to us, set up a discovery call, and let's see how we can serve you. All right, so we've got a question. We're going to jump right in. This is from Shalise. Is it
You want me to
fair?
read because you don't have your glasses on? You want me to read?
My sister. Let's get it.
Is it fair of me to ask my husband to reflect on his feelings about our relationship leading up to and during his affair so that we can unpack that, understand it, and avoid a repeat in the future?
Hit it.
All right. No, it is not unfair. I think that is extremely wise of you to want to unpack that using Hassani's words. You've been listening for a while to unpack that for sure. But here's the thing. What's your why, sis? Because if your why is rooted in fear of a repeat of the past, then that's not enough, right? Sometimes we're wanting to get to the root of things and we want to unpack it because we're like, oh my God, if I can just understand, then I can prevent this from happening in the future. And what has to happen to prevent it is there has to be a change of mind, a change of heart, a shifting in the thinking, right? You all have to deal with the marital issues that led up to. So if you're focused on the resolution of what the marital issues were prior to the infidelity, then you are in a good place. And that's perfect. And that's awesome. So, absolutely, yes, you guys do need to talk about that. And you need to get the support that you need while you're doing that.
Absolutely. I think when people complain, man, we still talking about this affair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about it in a different way, it's a
Mm-hmm.
sign of growth, healing, and maturity. And the fact that you can now reflect upon it and take life lessons away from it, and what can you do to build up a wall of protection around the relationship to prevent it from happening. And again, those are the best conversations that you can ever have regarding an affair. So I co-sign what Lakeisha said. Lakeisha, I have a question here through text I want to give to you. What
Mm-hmm.
what can you do when you can't stop having the suspicion that the infidelity and affair still have not stopped? What do you do when there is a constant lack of reassurance and transparency from the unfaithful spouse?
Well, I hope that you are having that conversation with your spouse to let them know that you're having these concerns. Because the first thing you do want to do is put a voice to it. And I hope that they are receptive to that, because there has to be full transparency. And if there isn't, that would, like, to me, that is what fuels that lack of confidence and that there's nothing else going on. So I'm hoping that, again, you will be able to have that conversation, if you have not already, to voice those concerns and let your spouse know that you are having, some doubts. And where's it coming from? Is it based on their actions, what they're doing, what they're saying, or what they're not doing or not saying? Be intentional about you controlling what you can control, which is yourself. And you want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of why you're thinking what you're thinking and why you're feeling what you're feeling, because sometimes it may not have anything to do with your spouse. So you just want to get crystal clear about where that's coming from. And if it is something that your spouse is saying or doing or not saying or not doing, make sure that you're clear, concise, and direct when you're having that conversation, to let them know what it is that you need from them that they're not giving you, or what you need them to stop that they're doing.
Absolutely. Great answer. Let's go to another question. Here it is. No infidelity, a history of involving family in our marriage for years.
Mm-hmm.
4 years, I have stopped that and continued to build trust. Husband won't acknowledge that I've made any changes. Reasons why? So I guess you're asking us, what are the reasons why that he won't acknowledge that you've made these particular changes? What are your thoughts, Lakeisha?
So praises to TMH. I love the name. Maybe is that he doesn't recognize them. Maybe he doesn't recognize the changes. Maybe they've been subtle changes, and he just hasn't identified them. I don't know how long. I think you said you've been married for 4 years, that you stopped it and continued to build trust. The way that you see trust and the way that he sees trust may be completely different. What he needs to feel secure in a relationship, or to feel as if he can trust you, may be completely different from what you need. It's just like with the love languages, right? We have a tendency to love people the way that we want to be loved versus the way that they want to be loved. So maybe what he needs to see from you, he hasn't seen yet. So that could be one thing. The second thing is, maybe he doesn't feel like he should acknowledge what you've done, because in his mind, he may be thinking this is just what you're supposed to do. And maybe he felt like what you were doing before was out of order. And now that you are in order, okay, so now things are just where they need to be. And he may not see the need to be able to acknowledge that. But you got to tell him that you want that acknowledgement, because that is what gives you the fuel, the energy, the motivation to keep doing what it is that you're doing. So you just got to communicate that.
Absolutely. I mean, 4 years of a changed behavior is something worthy of being acknowledged. So if he isn't acknowledging it, it could speak to a deeper issue. And so, as we've always said, communication, the breakdown of communication is the number one struggle that most couples have. And that's the area where you need to really dive in deep and explore some things. And if you can't do it on your own, to Lakeisha's point, you've got to be able to do it with somebody else, because there could be resentment, there could be unforgiveness, there could be all types of things in other areas. So though you've resolved this particular issue, maybe there are some other issues that have yet still unresolved, and it's caused, I don't know, it's caused him to feel some type of way, to think some type of way, and to show up in a relationship in a particular way. So
He
hopefully
may he may not have forgiven too. That's something else. He may not have forgiven you for that past behavior. And if that is the case, then it will be hard, it will be difficult to acknowledge the changes that you've made if he's still living in unforgiveness. And that's possible.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Here's another great question. My husband had an affair while I was pregnant almost 2 years ago. I want to trust him again, but it's hard to forget. Let me just first say, you will never forget, nor should you ever forget. It's not about trying to forget the past or erase the past. It's about having a different relationship with the past. And so when you think upon that past moment, it doesn't have the same stain that it did when it first occurred. At the end of the day, this lands differently because you were pregnant, or let's just say my parent just died, or I just lost my job, or I was sick. A lot of times, spouses engage in affairs and betrayals, which would seem at the worst time. Like, how could you do it then? How could you do it during this phase? So it almost seems like a double betrayal. And so when you think about the child, or when you think about any of the other circumstances at the wrong time when they engage in the affair, when you think about that situation, you think about the affair. And so it's really a healing process that you need to go through. You both need to go through. But the trust factor is something that all couples, no matter what the circumstances, the situation regarding the affair, all couples struggle with. And so, yes, trust is a process that takes place over time. There's a path, there's a journey that you need to take. And this is why we say it's important to know what to do and how to do. Because if you don't know the how, and if you don't have a strong why, it will seem impossible to do.
Yeah, I get that, you want to trust, but it's difficult. And I love the fact, and I just want to celebrate the fact that you want to, that you're willing, that you're trying. Because there's a lot of couples who just tap out. This happened, I'm just done. They wash their hands of it and they wash away, just walk away. So I'm thankful that you're trying to hang in there and work it out. You go on to say, I want to trust him again, but my insecurities are out the roof. And so that's going to hinder you. That is going to hinder you from being able to trust him again, because even if he's showing up and he's doing the right thing, he's saying the right thing, and he's had a change of behavior, a change of heart, shifting his mindset, all of that. But if you are still having your own insecurities, then you're always going to look at what he's doing through a clouded lens, through the wrong lens. And so you definitely have to deal with your own insecurities, sis, to make sure that you are the healthiest version of yourself that you can be, so that you are able to see things clearly.
Absolutely. I want to go to Reese Palmer. Reese Palmer, what an honor to have you on. He's a
Hey, Reese.
phenomenal marriage practitioner and therapist out of the South Carolina area. Him and his wife, Elisa, do an amazing job. He says, I agree, there may be some other areas of the marriage that have not been addressed and healed. And I think that's true. At the end of the day, there's no silver bullet, right, that will address all issues. And there's usually not one issue. Usually, whatever the issue is, it's clustered with a bunch of other issues that also need to be addressed to bring about ultimate healing. Now, here's oh man, I love this question. We can chew on this for a minute.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I can't trust my marriage counselor. Is this normal? I want to take marriage counseling. Okay. I want to pause on this because we can go in many different directions. Right now, there's a couple that came to us for counseling. And one of the spouses, the wife, is the former offender. And a lot of times when you're going through the affair recovery process, okay, oftentimes the offender is in the hot seat. right? The spotlight is on them, and it can be very uncomfortable. And during that process, the counselor, if they know what they're doing, if they're an infidelity recovery specialist, they're navigating the both of you through full disclosure and certain conversations that are going to feel uncomfortable. And oftentimes, the former betrayed spouse, a former unfaithful spouse, excuse me, feels like they're being tag teamed against, feels like the counselor is on the other spouse's side,
Mm-hmm.
feels like they're being beat up. And 99% of the time, that's not the case. What happens is it's so uncomfortable. There's so much guilt. There's so much shame. You feel exposed
Mm-hmm.
that you try to run from the process. And the assumptions are made that, something's wrong with that counselor, something's wrong with that practitioner. And the reality is, we say, listen, we're not your friends. We're not your cheerleaders. We are here to do a job. We're fighting for your last name, not your first. And so sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable. Sometimes we're going to have courageous conversations with you, and you're not always going to like it. But we're not here to tell you what you want to hear. We're here to tell you what you need to do to get to a place of healing and transformation. That's one way of looking at it. I want to piggyback and forth with Lakeisha. I want you to hit this, and I'm going to come back with another.
Yeah, so Muhammad, I don't know what your nationality is. I don't know that, and I'm not going to assume, but this could be a cultural thing. I know specifically in the African American community, it's taboo to go to counseling. Like it's, Jesus will fix it all, and Jesus can fix it, but Jesus put counselors here for a reason so that they can help navigate you through what's going on in your life. That's why professionals are there. So, I completely understand that. But, I always have these questions. Has someone betrayed your trust in the past? Have you been in a counseling situation before where you felt that your trust was violated? Is this something that you were taught? Is it something that you experienced? I don't know. But again, if you are wanting to move forward and you're trying to get to a better place in your life, that means that you're going to have to tap into someone who is more knowledgeable than yourself, who is experienced, who is trained, as Hassani says, knows what they're doing, so they can help you navigate through whatever issue it is that you're having. So the fact that you're saying that you want counseling, that means that your marriage is in trouble. That means that you need help and you need support. So are you having difficulty trusting in general?
Well,
Is this a general trust issue?
he actually just responded, so this is great. He
Okay.
says, thank you. So my trust is that they don't have the expertise. My
Mhm.
wife keeps telling me to get out of the house whenever she is angry. I have 4 kids. My oldest son is 13. I keep staying home by begging. So I want you to zone in on their lack of expertise. And we talk about this all the time. So weigh in on that, Lakeisha.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the reason why people come to Couples Academy is because this is exactly what everyone is trained to do here. We are infidelity recovery specialists. Now, that is primarily what is done here, but that's not the only expertise that
Yes.
is here. Every single practitioner at Couples Academy is well versed. So whatever it is that you're dealing with, we're equipped, we are capable, and we're able to handle what it is that you're going through. And so the thing is, you just have to take a leap of faith. And I see that you say that you're Muslim. Cool. No issue with that. All different nationalities, all different faith walks, all different socioeconomic statuses coming through Couples Academy. We see it all. So there's nothing that any practitioner here can't handle. So yes, we have the expertise. Yes, we have the knowledge. As Hassani said, this isn't a one-sided thing. If you get a male practitioner or a female practitioner, both are going to be unbiased. Both are going to be focusing on your marital issues and not teaming up with the gender in the relationship. It's about what are your marital issues and how do we need to help you address them so that you guys can get to the next level in your relationship.
Absolutely. Perfectly said. Let's go to another question. David, good morning. Oh, sorry. Let me go to another one. David, good morning. Thank you for asking the question. What do you do when you want to trust and have had grace for years, but more and more things keep coming out that was supposed to be disclosed already about other events, and the person has changed but doesn't explain the past events and says it's because they have changed, don't remember, and are not the same person anymore? Should I just let it go and move forward? That's a very good question. I mean, I'll start off by saying, and we can go back and forth on this, that it does hurt when more information keeps coming out. And so
Yes.
once again, it's the question between is information intentionally not coming out to hide, to conceal, to be clandestine, to
Mm-hmm.
not reveal, or is more information coming out that is trivial information that doesn't make a major difference in terms of what has been occurred? So, for instance, to give you an
Right.
example, man, you never told me that you two ate at that McDonald's on the corner of Broad and Market. Why didn't you tell me that? I feel betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
I was McDonald's, like in the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't have thought that telling you that specific detail was critical to what I did and what I was involved in. You see the difference between that and other type of information that is not being revealed because one is still hiding. So I don't necessarily know the specifics and the particulars of it, but we do believe in total transparency, total honesty, having the real conversation and letting it all out on the table at one time, so the drip drop trickle truth doesn't continue to damage the relationship and weaken one's will and one's ability to trust.
Yes. Hi, David. We know you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting your question in here this morning. I think it will resonate with a lot of people who are watching and listening. And I will say this, blanket answer of should you just let it go and move forward? I would say no. If it's something that is preventing you from being able to be fully open and trust your spouse fully, again, I would say no. In general, you shouldn't just let it go and move forward because it's still in there, right? And it's still in there deep down. And what is in us eventually is going to come up and out of us. And we can't control how it's going to come out and when it's going to come out. So no, you need to do that in a healthy way. But to Hassani's point, because you guys have been going through this for quite some time, are you holding on to things because you're afraid to move forward? Are you afraid to trust again? Because that's different. And again, to Hassani's point, if it's you bringing up things or you're learning things that are minuscule, and I'm not minimizing, but I'm saying about specific locations, like he said about this McDonald's or whatever, does it change anything? And are you given the proper weight to the things that are coming out? Are you given the proper weight to it? Like, is it really that heavy? And is it something that's just confirming something that you're already thinking because you're afraid that this is going to happen again? So you're just looking for anything that might confirm what it is that you're thinking or feeling or believing about your spouse. So we've already said this before. You need to reach out. You need to get in front of a practitioner, because without us knowing the details, it's really difficult for us to say, yeah, bro, you just need to let that go and move on. Because I don't want to minimize something that may be significant. And so to just tell you move on and let it go, no, we can't do that. So we want to make sure that we honor what it is that you are going through, but we need the details of it.
Yeah, he goes on to say, both Keisha, but this would be about hiding another affair with the same tactics. Now that's a different situation.
Yes. Completely different situation. So David, no, then you just answered your own question. You can't just let it go and move forward, because if there's still a possibility that she's cheating again, then no, you need to know that, and that needs to be addressed.
Or hiding a previous affair that
Or
has
hiding a previous affair.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the challenge, it's such a, we say this all the time. The full disclosure step is the most important step in the entire process, because once you do it, you literally can start with a clean slate and begin to rebuild a relationship on a healthy foundation where trust, transparency, openness, and honesty is a major part of your future. And so Yeah, this is something worthy of a further discussion, and I know that you are in discussions, and we'll circle back around to help you with this particular process. I just want to encourage you both to know that you can get through this, you can overcome this, and this is nothing that we haven't experienced or seen before. There is still light at the end of the tunnel, and we say this all the time, and it's in the book, What Radical Husbands Do. Right? Here's the quote: "It's hard at the beginning, messy in the middle,
Messy in the middle.
and beautiful at the end." And right now we're in that middle phase, and it feels very messy. But I want to encourage you and letting you know that we will get to the other side. Guys, I can't believe that 30 minutes has passed so quickly. We are at the end of our show. We want to let you all know that we love you. We appreciate you. Have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you on Monday for another great episode. But until then, stay connected to the family. Spend some time with your loved one. Have some fun this weekend, and let's celebrate a new week together. All right, guys. Love you. Take care.